right, so I'm Jacob Davis from Sally's Speed Shop in Newnan, Georgia, and we have a 72 AMC Javelin that was going to be a drag car back in the day. Somebody started building it in 1984, never finished it. We found it, we finished it, took it racing this summer, decided, you know what, racing the quarter mile is cool, but we need to turn that old bracket car into a street car. So here we are at Sick Week. We have an AMC 431 Turbo 400. This is an aluminum rod motor. This is like one of the baddest AMC motors you'll ever see, and we're gonna try to make it live on the street with a half-filled block and all kinds of really bad ideas, but we're here. I think we're the only AMC V8 on the property.
Yeah, and then like how many street miles do you have on this car?
So I've driven it last night. I rebuilt the transmission like 2 days ago, and I'd never rebuilt the transmission. I rolled the sprag last time I was on the track. Took it for a street drive, so that was like maybe 5 or 6 miles. And then I drove it to my buddy's house the other day without second gear because the sprag was broken. And that was 25 miles round trip. But the oil got real hot, so I've added an oil cooler from Duraley. I've got big, like nitro 70 weight thick oil in it, mixed with 2050 per lake speeds recommendation. Seems to have better oil pressure when it's hot now. We're gonna find out. It was made for the quarter mile. We're gonna try to live on the street because we're idiots.
Right. So let's talk about you're in the C class. What does what's that mean? Are you gonna try and run up against 10-0, or are you gonna just kind of make it the week? You gonna take it easy on it?
I will be very happy if the car survives the week. I kind of was like, it's a 50-50 chance that it does or doesn't. The motor was built in 1995. The last time the valves were lashed was 1995. I'm not kidding. The heads haven't come off. All I did was pull it and inspect like the valve covers and oil pan, and literally checked the lash right before I put it back in a few days ago, and it's still dead on from 1995. A guy named Don Restari built the engine, and it used to run in a Henry J. And he unfortunately passed away the week we bought the car, so I added his name to the scoop. It says Restari Racing Engines. And his motor's living on. He had 16 pages of handwritten notes with this engine when we found it. And I mean like detailed, like down to everything, how to do a burnout, how not to hurt the sprag, which then I did. But this thing is a phenomenal story, and we've gotten to find everybody who was a part of it back 40 years ago and include them in the project. Because we found Robbie West, who originally bought the car, so I put his name above the door like a NASCAR driver. The guy that built it, John Dover, his name's on the dash. We've got Tony Mancusi. He owned it for 32 years. He's the guy who painted it and found the engine and trans. But again, never finished it. Life gets in the way. So we were able to finish somebody's project and go racing with it.
All right, well, good luck, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you. So we just made our first proper launch on a very prep track, because Sick Week has some of the best prep you're ever gonna find. And this car had never seen prep like that, and so I let off the trans brake, and suddenly the drive shaft exploded, and I was like, I thought it was a pretty good drive shaft. Well, it turns out, actually, the 4-link brackets ripped off the axle, and then the pinion angle shot up, and the drive shaft bound up and exploded. So The rear end's over there getting welded up. Plugged into the fuel tanks over here, which is a good idea. But we're gonna have it fixed. My buddy Matt Hunt ran the drive shaft over to Advanced Driveline here in Orlando, I think was the name of the place. And a guy named Robert is fixing it right when he shows up. And so we're able to reuse the front part because the yoke and the front of the drive shaft, they're both Sonax pieces, they're really good. So only the rear one was damaged. So they're just gonna cut it off, weld a new tube, and we'll be good.
You're set.
You know, might be a 20-second pass today, but we'll be there tomorrow if the rest of the car works.
That's awesome.
So,
Good luck.
thank you. I appreciate it. This was not in the plans, but we're improvising, adapting, and overcoming.